Let us continue our discussion with adrenal gland. Okay. Adrenal gland is a gland which is located above our kidney. So we have two adrenal gland above each kidney. Okay. Adrenal gland, if you look into the structure of adrenal gland, it can be divided into two regions, the adrenal medulla and adrenal cortex. The hormones produced by adrenal medulla is referred as catecholamine. The hormones produced by adrenal cortex is together known as corticoids. Okay. Now, the different types of catecholamines produced by adrenal medulla are adrenaline and noradrenaline. This can also be named as epinephrine or norepinephrine. Okay, adrenaline can be called as epinephrine, noradrenaline can be called as norepinephrine. So totally together they are called as catecholamines. So these are the hormones produced by adrenal medulla. This is the very important point to be remembered. Okay, then talking about adrenal cortex. The hormones produced by adrenal cortex are referred as corticoids. The two different types of corticoids produced by adrenal cortex are glucocorticoids and mineralocorticoids. Okay, glucocorticoids example is cortisol. Mineralocorticoids, the example is aldosterone. Okay, the name itself indicates glucocorticoids means this is a hormone which is related to maintaining the glucose level of our body. Mineralocorticoids means this hormone maintains the minerals, that means the electrolytes and water balance in our body. Important glucocorticoids is cortisol. Very important mineralocorticoids is aldosterone. Okay, so these are the different hormones produced by adrenal gland. Generally, adrenal gland has two regions, adrenal medulla, adrenal cortex. Okay, here as you can see, this is kidney, this is adrenal gland, this is the adrenal cortex region, this is adrenal medulla. Adrenal medulla produces hormones together referred as catecholamines. Adrenal cortex produces hormones together referred as corticoids. Okay, the catecholamines are adrenaline, noradrenaline, corticoids are glucocorticoids, mineralocorticoids. Okay, so the function of adrenaline we have already discussed. Okay, it is known as emergency hormones. When your body is under any kind of stress or emergency or any kind of pressure, then the hormones produced are adrenaline and noradrenaline. Okay, talking about glucocorticoids, the corticoids which are involved in carbohydrate metabolism. The name itself indicates gluco. It refers to glucose, which is nothing but a carbohydrate. So they are responsible for carbohydrate metabolism in our body. Example is cortisol. Okay, also it has some other functions like it maintains cardiovascular system as well as the kidney function. Glucocorticoids, especially this cortisol, it produces anti-inflammatory reactions and suppresses the immune responses. Usually what happens when any allergen enters our body produces inflammatory reactions. This reaction will be suppressed or controlled by this particular hormone known as cortisol. That's why we say anti-inflammatory reactions. And also it suppresses the immune response so that your body is not becoming more and more allergic to some allergen. It also stimulates the RBC production in our body. It increases the RBC production. Also it stimulates gluconeogenesis. That means new glucose formation. Okay, and lipolysis, proteolysis, that is breakdown of lipids and breakdown of proteins. Okay, then the next type of hormone produced by adrenal cortex is mineralocorticoids. It regulates the balance of water and electrolytes in our body. Example is aldosterone. Okay, how it maintains the water and electrolyte balance? It acts on our renal tubule, that is the tubule of our kidney, and it increases the reabsorption of sodium and water. Also, the excretion of potassium and phosphate ion is stimulated by aldosterone. Okay, so it maintains the electrocyte balance, body fluid volume. Ultimately, it acts as a mineralocorticoid. Okay, then let's move on to the next type of endocrine gland, which is pancreas. Okay, pancreas is one of the important endocrine glands of our body. It produces two types of hormones. One is insulin, another one is glucagon. Okay, if we look into the structure of pancreas, pancreas has certain patches of cells in its structure known as islets of Langerhans. Okay, so there are about 1 to 2 millions of islets of Langerhans in a single pancreas. If you see what are these islets of Langerhans, these islets of Langerhans has two different types of cells, alpha cells and beta cells. Okay, alpha cells are the different types of cells, beta cells are the different types of cells. These alpha cells actually produces this hormone known as glucagon, whereas beta cells produce the hormone known as insulin. Okay, so in the pancreas there are patches of cells known as islets of Langerhans. Islets of Langerhans has two different types of cells, alpha cells and beta cells. Alpha cells produce glucagon, whereas beta cells produce insulin. Okay, pancreas, this is insulin, this is glucagon. What are the functions of these insulin and glucagon in our body? Insulin decreases the blood sugar level, whereas glucagon increases your blood sugar level. So, glucagon is known as hyperglycemic hormone. Okay, you have to remember this. Glucagon is known as hyperglycemic hormone because hyper means more, glycine means sugar or the glucose content. It increases the sugar content of your blood, whereas insulin is known as hypoglycemic hormone. It reduces the glucose level of the blood. Okay, so it is a hypoglycemic hormone. How insulin is a hypoglycemic hormone? What is the function carried out by insulin? Insulin, first function is it stimulates glycogenesis. Glycogenesis means glucose is converted to glycogen. That process is known as glycogenesis. When glucose is converted to glycogen, there is less glucose in your blood. So, it acts as a hypoglycemic hormone. When glycogenesis happens, the glucose level decreases, whereas the glycogen level increases. So, in a way, it reduces the glucose level. Second, it enhances cellular glucose uptake and utilization. Okay, when insulin is produced in your body, it actually increases the level of cellular glucose uptake. That means a cell taking the glucose. Okay, so that is and utilizing the glucose. This is increased when insulin is produced in your body. That is the reason it acts as hypoglycemic hormone. Whereas if we talk about glucagon, it is a hyperglycemic hormone. It increases your blood sugar level. How it increases your blood sugar level? It stimulates glycogenolysis. Glycogenolysis means the glycogen which is stored, it will be lysis. It will be broken down to release glucose. So ultimately glucose level of your blood is increased. It stimulates gluconeogenesis. It stimulates or it increases the process where new and new glucose are produced. That is gluconeogenesis. New glucose formation. Okay, it stimulates. That means it increases the rate. It reduces the cellular glucose uptake and utilization. When glucagon is present, it asks the cells not to take glucose from the blood. Okay, and do not utilize the glucose. This is the way glucose level is increased in the blood. So it acts as a hyperglycemic hormone. Now, both insulin and glucagon are very important to maintain the glucose level of our blood. If the insulin level is low in our blood. If in a person insulin is produced at a lower amount, then the person will develop a condition known as diabetes mellitus, which is commonly known as diabetes. Okay, diabetes mellitus. Now what happens during diabetes is, in the person having diabetes, the loss of glucose through urine, this condition is glycosuria. Glycosuria means loss of glucose through urine. When a person is excreting the urine, glucose is also excreted in the urine. That is because that person's blood glucose level is high. Okay, glycosuria. And formation of harmful compounds known as ketone bodies. The person who is having diabetes mellitus, he also secretes ketone bodies through his blood. In his urine. Okay, so this is the condition where a person is having diabetes mellitus. Now, if the person having diabetes has to be treated, then he will be treated with insulin therapy. So this is all about pancreas. Okay, pancreas secretes two hormones, insulin and glucagon. Insulin hypoglycemic, glucagon is a hyperglycemic hormone. Then we will move on to the gonadotropins or the gonads. Okay, we know that in our body there are two gonads. Okay, in male it is testis, in female it is ovary. They are known as gonads. Okay, when these gonads also act as endocrine glands, it is of a greater importance. Let's talk about testis, which is the gland, endocrine gland, and as well as the primary sexual organ present in male. Okay, a pair of testes is present in the scrotal bag of male individuals. Okay, in male, two testes are present, and it will be present inside a safe bag known as scrotum. Okay, testis performs dual function. It acts as a primary sex organ as well as an endocrine gland. Okay, testis has two functions. It acts as primary sex organ in male because inside the testis sperm is produced, and also it acts as an endocrine gland. That means it also secretes hormones. Okay, testis is composed of seminiferous tubules and stromal or interstitial tissue. Now, if we study the structure of testis, if we take a cross section of testis and we study, there are structures called as seminiferous tubule as well as Leydig cells. Okay, in the interstitial cells, that's what we call them. The Leydig cells of the testis actually produces hormone, which together we call it as androgen. But if we have to call it specifically, then the hormone produced by testis is known as testosterone. Okay, generally it is referred as androgen. Okay, but the specific hormone's name is testosterone. What are the functions of testosterone? In male, the formation of male sexual characters, the development of male sexual behavior, specific behavior reserved for male. Okay, all these characters are controlled by testosterone. Okay, growth, the process of spermatogenesis, the process of sperm formation is also stimulated by testosterone. Okay, it also acts on the central nervous system and influence the male sexual behavior. Okay, male has a separate sexual behavior. No, it is also known as libido. Okay, then the male specific characters like muscular growth of facial and axillary hair, aggressiveness, low pitch of voice. Okay, and all these are controlled by testosterone. Also, the development of male sex organs like epididymis, vas deferens, seminal vesicles, prostate gland, urethra. Okay, all these are controlled by testosterone. Also, these hormones produce anabolic effects on protein and carbohydrate metabolism. To some extent, it also acts on protein and carbohydrate metabolism. So this is all about testosterone produced by testis. Then we will move on to the next endocrine gland, which is ovary. Okay, the hormones produced by ovary are two. One is estrogen, other one is progesterone. Okay, if you study the structure of ovary, in the ovary there will be structures known as ovarian follicles, which actually carries ovum inside it. These ovarian follicles actually secretes this hormone known as estrogen. Okay, ovary produces two hormones, estrogen and progesterone. Estrogen is produced by ovarian follicles, whereas progesterone is produced by corpus luteum. Once the ovarian follicle turns into graphene follicle is actually carrying the ovum. Once the ovum is released in the process known as ovulation, the graphene follicle develops into a structure known as corpus luteum. This corpus luteum secretes this hormone known as progesterone. Okay, so ovary releases two hormones, estrogen which is secreted by ovarian follicle, progesterone which is secreted by corpus luteum. Okay, now what are the functions of estrogen? Development of growing ovarian follicles, appearance of female secondary sex characters like high pitch of voice, memory gland development, all these are controlled by estrogen. Whereas progesterone is known as pregnancy hormone because it supports the pregnancy. Progesterone also acts on the mammary gland and stimulates the formation of milk. Okay, throughout the process of pregnancy and also the process of milk secretion is controlled by this hormone known as progesterone, which is secreted by corpus luteum. Okay, so this is all about the hormones produced by ovary and their functions. Where are they produced? Okay, with that we will finish the topic of endocrine glands, different endocrine glands. We have studied hypothalamus, we have studied pituitary, we have studied pineal gland, thyroid gland, parathyroid gland, the thymus gland, pancreas. We have studied about adrenal glands, we have studied about two gonads which are testis and ovary. Okay, so we have studied the different hormones produced by these endocrine glands. Apart from endocrine glands, there are certain other parts of our body or organs of our body which also acts as endocrine, which also is a part of endocrine system, human endocrine system, because they also have the capacity to produce hormones. Okay, so there are certain organs of our body which are actually not endocrine glands, but a part of that particular organ is responsible for hormone production. So that particular part or a particular cell or a particular tissue is also a part of human endocrine system. Okay, so let's study about such organs or such structures which actually produce hormones in our body apart from endocrine glands, what we have studied till now. Okay, hormones produced by heart, kidney and gastrointestinal tract. Okay, so the different hormones are produced by heart, kidney and gastrointestinal tract. So they are also a part of human endocrine system. Which is the hormone produced by heart? Heart produces a substance which is known as atrial natriuretic factor, which is abbreviated as ANF. Okay, heart produces a hormone known as atrial natriuretic factor, which is abbreviated as ANF. The function of this particular hormone is decreasing the blood pressure. Okay, so it dilates the blood vessels, so it decreases the blood pressure. When there is increased blood pressure in the heart, if the heart is facing a increased blood pressure, then the heart produces ANF, which actually decreases this blood pressure. The hormone produced by kidney is known as erythropoietin. Okay, what is the function of erythropoietin? Erythropoietin is a hormone. If you are aware of a term known as erythropoiesis. Okay, there is a process known as erythropoiesis. Here I have mentioned. Erythropoiesis means in our body, the formation of RBC is known as erythropoiesis. Erythro, that means RBC, red blood cells, right? So the formation of RBC, that process is known as erythropoiesis. This process is supported or stimulated by this hormone known as erythropoietin, which is released by kidney. Okay. So this is all about the hormone produced by kidney. Then if we are talking about the hormone produced by GI tract, that means our gastrointestinal tract. The hormones produced by GI tract are gastrin, secretin, cholecystokinin and gastric inhibitory peptide. Okay, so these four hormones are released by your GI tract, that is gastrointestinal tract. The name itself indicates they have something to do with your digestion. Okay, so they help in digestion. Okay, gastrin, secretin, cholecystokinin and gastric inhibitory peptide, they act on our digestive system and they help in the process of digestion. So these are the different other hormones produced by heart, kidney and gastrointestinal tract, apart from the hormones produced by our proper endocrine glands. Then next topic we will study about how the hormone functions or what is the mechanism of hormone action. Now what happens is, we all now know that hormones are produced by different endocrine glands present in our body. Example, hypothalamus, pineal, thymus, etc. Now, in the beginning of the session, I have already mentioned that hormone producing glands are ductless glands. That means they do not have any particular duct to carry the hormone from one particular place to the other place. Okay? Endocrine glands produce hormones. Hormones are directly released into the bloodstream because the glands do not have any duct system or any particular vessel or a particular tube carrying this particular hormone to the target place. Hormones are produced from the endocrine glands directly to the bloodstream. In the bloodstream, it is carried to the target tissue. Okay, now how the target tissue is selected? Now when the hormone is produced by hypothalamus or when the hormone is produced by pituitary gland, for example, thyroid stimulating hormone is produced by pituitary gland. It has to reach the thyroid gland. If it has reached the thyroid gland, how the thyroid gland will recognize this thyroid stimulating hormone and accept it? Okay, so this is what we study in hormone action. Now, on every cell of our body, we have a hormone receptor. Okay, in all the target cells or target tissue, we have certain structure known as hormone receptor. They are specific proteins which actually accepts the hormones. If the thyroid stimulating hormone has to reach the thyroid and do its function in the thyroid, then the thyroid, that particular organ known as thyroid, should have hormone receptors for these particular TSH coming from the pituitary gland. Okay, so when the receptor accepts the hormone, that forms a complex known as hormone receptor complex. Okay, this is known as hormone receptor interaction. Okay, in the target tissue, that means the destination where the hormone is coming to, that particular destination has particular receptors on its cell surface to receive this particular hormone. When the hormone is coming in the bloodstream, these receptors present on a particular cell, it will form a complex with the hormone. So this is known as hormone receptor complex. This interaction is known as hormone receptor interaction. Okay, so when the hormones go to any particular target tissue, there are specific hormone receptors. That means the receptors means something that receives that particular hormones. Now, Hormones receptors are of two types, membrane bound receptors and intracellular receptor. Okay, imagine this is a cell. There is a receptor here on the cell surface attached to the plasma membrane. When the hormone is coming, this particular receptor is accepting it and the hormone is binding to this particular receptor on the cell surface or the membrane surface. This particular receptors are known as membrane receptors. Okay, whereas if the receptor for this particular hormone is present inside your cell, may be attached to your nucleus, then that particular receptor is known as intracellular receptor. The receptors present on the surface of the cell is known as membrane bound receptors because it is bound to plasma membrane. Okay, they are known as membrane bound receptors. The receptors which are present inside the cell are known as intracellular receptors. Generally, they will be present on the nuclear membrane. Okay, instead of cell membrane, plasma membrane. Now, how a membrane bound receptors work and how intracellular receptors work. Imagine a receptor is present on the membrane of a particular cell. Hormone comes and hormone attaches to this particular receptor. Then the hormone receptor complex is formed. This hormone will not directly enter the cell. Right? This hormone will not enter the cell. It will produce something known as secondary messengers. The hormone reaching the target tissue attached to the membrane receptors do not directly enter the cell. Instead, this hormone will produce something known as secondary messengers. Okay. For examples, the examples for secondary messengers are cyclic AMP, CAMP, it is abbreviated as CGMP, IP3, calcium. All these are examples for secondary messengers. So if the hormone is coming and getting attached to the membrane bound receptors, the hormone will directly not enter the cell. It will instead produce secondary messengers like CAMP, IP3, calcium, etc. CGMP, okay, etc. Now, if these messengers will do the will take the necessary action in that particular cell, target tissue. However, if the intracellular receptors, imagine the receptors for this particular hormone is present on the surface of the nucleus, then the hormone will enter the cell. It will attach to the nuclear receptors present on the nuclear membrane. The hormone will enter the cell. It will attach to the receptors present on the nuclear membrane. Okay, then the membrane receptor complex is formed. Then actually hormone directly asks the gene or the DNA present inside that particular nucleus to take action. Okay, which is not done in the case of membrane bound receptors. In case of membrane bound receptors, secondary messengers are produced by hormones. In case of intracellular receptors, hormones will directly take action. It will attach to the nuclear membrane. It will ask the DNA or the gene to take particular action or to carry out the gene expression. It will directly control the gene expression. That means which particular protein has to be produced from that particular gene. It will be controlled by intracellular receptors. Okay. So this is all about mechanism of hormone action, and that particular hormone will regulate the gene expression. Gene expression means gene will produce the RNA, mRNA will produce a protein. This protein will do the action which is required by the particular cell. It is under the guidance of that particular hormone. This is the hormone action. Now, next topic is hormone classification. Hormones can be classified into different types based on their chemical component. The first type of hormone is peptide, polypeptide, protein hormones. Okay, all of them, they are related to protein. If the hormone is a protein, then it will be categorized into this group. Iodothyronine hormones, the hormones which are based on iodine. Steroids. Certain hormones are steroids. Amino acid derivatives. Certain hormones are derived from amino acids. Let's study few of them. The peptide, polypeptide protein hormones are insulin, glucagon, pituitary hormones. All the 6 hormones produced by all the hormones produced by pituitary hormones. I mentioned 6. 6 just represents the hormone produced by pars distalis region. There are hormones produced by pars intermedia and pars nervosa also. All these hormones are protein hormones. Hypothalamic hormones. We have studied about gonadotropin releasing hormones, somatostatin. These hormones are all proteins. Then if we are talking about iodothyronins, we know thyroid hormones. Thyroid hormones are nothing but T3 and T4. Triiodothyronin, tetraiodothyronins. These are iodothyronin hormones. Next, steroid hormones. The hormones which are also steroids. Cortisol, testosterone. Cortisol is a glucocorticoid. Testosterone, estrogen and progesterone. All these hormones are steroids hormone. Amino acid derivatives. The hormone which is also amino acid derivative is epinephrine, which is nothing but adrenaline. Okay, so that is a amino acid derivative hormone. With this we will end the synopsis part of the NEET coaching for this particular chapter. Then we will move on with the question and answer sessions, the MCQ session. We will discuss few questions. I can't be discussing all the questions we can't be discussing about each and every hormone released by each and every gland. I will be discussing few questions, like I have chosen 30 important questions. Okay, I will also send you the material so that you can look into other questions also. Okay, so let's have a glance on what we have studied in this particular session. Okay, so initially we started with human endocrine system. Human endocrine system includes endocrine glands as well as any cells or tissues secreting hormones. Together, all the endocrine glands, also cells and tissues secreting the hormones can be categorized under human endocrine system. Under endocrine system, we will have to talk about endocrine glands. The different endocrine glands are hypothalamus, pituitary, pineal, thyroid, adrenaline, parathyroid, pancreas, testis. I know here I have mentioned gonads, thymus glands, thyroid glands. Under gonads we have testes in male and ovary in female. Then we started with hypothalamus. The hypothalamus hormones are classified as releasing hormones and inhibiting hormones. Releasing hormone example is GnRH, gonadotropin releasing hormones. Inhibiting hormones, which is somatostatin. Then pituitary gland. Pituitary gland can be classified into anterior pituitary and posterior pituitary. Anterior pituitary is known as adenohypophysis. Posterior pituitary is known as neurohypophysis. Adenohypophysis is further classified into pars distalis and pars intermedia. Neurohypophysis is generally referred as pars nervosa. The pars distalis region produces 6 hormones: growth hormone, prolactin, thyroid stimulating hormone, adrenocorticotropic hormone, luteinizing hormone, follicle stimulating hormone. Okay, so these are the 6 hormones produced by pars distalis region. Whereas pars intermedia produce only one hormone, which is melanocyte stimulating hormone. Then we come to pars nervosa. It produces 2 hormones, oxytocin and vasopressin. Vasopressin is also known as ADH, antidiuretic hormone. Okay, then we have studied the different functions carried out by these hormones. Okay, then pineal gland. Pineal gland is a hormone present in our forehead. All 3, hypothalamus, pituitary and pineal, these 3 are present in our forebrain. Okay. Then the pineal gland, this is also present in our forebrain. They produce hormone known as melatonin, which actually controls our 24-hour cycle, sleep-wake cycle, or we call it 24 hours rhythm. Okay, then the thyroid gland produce hormones like tetraiodothyronine and triiodothyronine. Also it produces a hormone known as thyrocalcitonin, which actually controls our calcium level in the body. Then parathyroid gland, it produces only one hormone, parathyroid hormones or PTH, which it is mainly responsible for maintaining calcium level or increasing calcium level in the blood. Then the thymus gland, which produces hormone known as thymosin. Thymosin is very important for our immune system. Thymus gland is a gland where the T lymphocytes come and differentiate. That is the reason it is named as T lymphocyte, because these lymphocytes come and they mature or differentiate in the thymus gland. Okay, they are very important for our immunity, both cell mediated immunity and humoral immunity. Then adrenal gland has two parts, adrenal medulla, adrenal cortex. Adrenal medulla produces catecholamines, adrenal cortex produces corticoids. Catecholamines are adrenaline and noradrenaline, corticoids are glucocorticoids, mineralocorticoids. Then pancreas produces two hormones, insulin and glucagon. Insulin is a hypoglycemic hormone, glucagon is a hyperglycemic hormone. Then testes produce testosterone, ovary produce estrogen and progesterone. Then the other hormones produced by heart, kidney and GI tract or gastrointestinal tract. How hormone functions and which are the different types of hormones based on their chemical components. Okay, now let's discuss few questions based on this particular topic. Now let's discuss few MCQs based on this particular chapter, chemical coordination and integration. Okay, so this is the weightage of various topics. We have already discussed about it. Let's move on to the first question. Dash controls the concentration of urine. Okay, which hormone? Since the chapter is based on hormone, actually it is asking the answer as hormone. Which hormone actually controls the concentration of urine? That means which hormone actually reduces your urine formation or reduces the loss of water in the form of urine. Okay, we have already studied ADH, which is referred as, which is the another name for the hormone vasopressin. Vasopressin is a hormone produced by pars nervosa region of your pituitary gland, or the posterior part of your pituitary produces this hormone known as vasopressin, which is also known as ADH, antidiuretic hormone. Okay, this hormone actually controls the concentration of urine. Other options are oxytocin. You know this is not an option because oxytocin is actually it is known as love hormone. Also it is helpful for the contraction of uterus during delivery. ACTH, adrenocorticotropic hormone. This is also not an option because adrenocorticotropic hormone's function is to act on the adrenal cortex region of your adrenal gland and stimulates the particular glucocorticoids from the adrenal cortex. None of the above. So the answer for this question is ADH, antidiuretic hormone, which is also known as vasopressin. Let's move on to the second question. Children who have damaged thymus may result in dash. Okay, loss of antibody mediated immunity, reduction in stem cell production, deafness. Okay, the last option is loss of cell mediated immunity. We are talking about thymus gland. When we talk about thymus gland, we should know that thymus gland is a gland where T lymphocytes come and differentiate. And T lymphocytes are associated with cell mediated immunity. Why not antibody mediated immunity? Antibody mediated immunity is actually the immunity that we get from B lymphocytes. B lymphocytes have nothing to do with thymus gland. Thymus gland is associated with T lymphocytes. That's why we call them as T. T refers to thymus. Okay, so and these T lymphocytes are helpful for antibody mediated, cell mediated immunity of our body. We have already discussed it. Okay, so the answer for this is loss of cell mediated immunity. Okay, Then the next question, a group of hormones called dash are released from adrenal cortex. Now you have to think about adrenal cortex. Adrenal cortex produce two different types of hormones, glucocorticoids, mineralocorticoids. In glucocorticoids, example cortisol, mineralocorticoids, examples aldosterone. Now let's see if these hormones are present in these options. Glucose, definitely not, because glucose is not a hormone. Glucocorticoid, glucagon, none of the above. Glucagon is a hormone produced by pancreas. Here we are talking about adrenal cortex. Adrenal cortex produces the hormone known as glucocorticoid and mineralocorticoid. So this is the right answer. Option 2 is the right answer. Here option 1 is the right answer. Option 4 is the right answer for the second question. Then the next question, question 4. Adrenocorticotropic hormone stimulates the adrenal cortex to produce dash. Now again you have to think the hormones produced by adrenal cortex. Let's see if they have mentioned in the answers. Testosterone, no, because it is a hormone produced by testis. Aldosterone, aldosterone is a hormone again produced by adrenal cortex. However, cortisol is also next option. Cortisol is also produced by adrenal cortex, none of the above. Now we have two options, aldosterone and cortisol, because we know that aldosterone is also produced by adrenal cortex, cortisol is also produced by adrenal cortex. Then what is the answer? Let's read the question again. Adrenal corticotropic hormones stimulate the adrenal cortex. Now we have already studied while talking about adrenocorticotropic hormone, ACTH. This is the hormone. Adrenocorticotropic hormone is a hormone produced by your pituitary gland, anterior part of your pituitary gland. While discussing there, I have told ACTH comes and stimulate the production of glucocorticoids from the adrenal cortex. Now you should know which is the glucocorticoid. Glucocorticoid is nothing but cortisol. Why not aldosterone? Aldosterone is a mineralocorticoid. And this hormone ACTH has nothing to do with mineralocorticoid. It will stimulate the production of glucocorticoid. Glucocorticoid is nothing but cortisol. Okay? And aldosterone is a mineralocorticoid. Okay? So here option 3 is the answer. Then the next question, deficiency of this element causes the thyroid gland to swell up. Okay, now when we discussed about thyroid gland, we knew that thyroid gland produces two different types of hormones, triiodothyronine, tetraiodothyronine. Okay, and both these hormones, they are controlled by, and their function is it is decided by the presence of iodine, tetraiodo, triiodo. So there is a name there is a molecule there known as iodo, so which represents iodine. We also know that when the iodine content of the body decreases, it leads to the condition known as hypothyroidism, and also it leads to the swelling of your thyroid gland, which is known as goiter. So here definitely the option is iodine. Deficiency of this element causes the thyroid gland to swell up. Options are calcium, iodine, phosphorus, none of the above. Okay, the thyroid gland is related to iodine because the hormone itself produced by them are known as triiodo, tetraiodothyronine. So option 2 is the answer. Question 6. Dash are synthetic steroid hormones that resembles testosterones. Okay, so here we have to use our brain or use our mind, because every word that will be asked in your NEET, it will not be present in your textbook or this the synopsis that we might give. Here sometimes you have to use your brain and apply your some logic. Dash are synthetic steroid hormones that resemble testosterone. Let's talk about aldosterone. Aldosterone definitely is not an option because aldosterone is a mineralocorticoid which is produced by adrenal cortex. It is not a synthetic hormone. The name itself here indicates anabolic steroids. Okay, anabolic steroids, the steroids which are built, right? Both 1 and 2 is not the option because 1 is not the option. None of the above is not the answer. So here anabolic steroids, option 2 is the answer for this particular question. Okay, synthetic steroid hormones which actually resembles testosterone. Testosterone is a steroid hormone, you know that. Anabolic steroid is the option. You have to use some logic here. Okay, the next question. The hormone that participates in metabolizing calcium and phosphorus are called. Okay, see the hormones that participates in metabolizing calcium and phosphorus. Let's look into the options. Glucagon, calcitonin, glycogen, none of the above. Glucagon is a hormone produced by pancreas which actually controls your blood sugar level. So it has nothing to do with calcium and phosphorus. Calcitonin, the name itself has a clue, calci, that means calcium. Calcitonin is another name given for thyrocalcitonin. We have studied thyrocalcitonin. Here I have just given we have given calcitonin. Okay, whereas thyrocalcitonin is a hormone, third hormone produced by your thyroid gland. Apart from T3 and T4, the thyroid gland also produce one more type of hormone known as thyrocalcitonin. The name itself indicates calci. It has to do something with your calcium level of your body. So the answer is calcitonin. Okay. So the answer for question 7 is your option 2. Then let's look into the next question, which is the 8th question. Dash is a temporary endocrine gland. Okay, this also we have not discussed in detail. If you look into all the options, you will get your answer. Okay, dash is a temporary endocrine gland. Okay, we have studied about different endocrine glands of our body. Let's look into the options or the choices. Placenta, pineal, pancreas, parathyroid. We know pineal gland is a gland present in our forebrain. It is a permanent gland of our body. Pancreas, it is also a permanent gland because we have studied it under endocrine gland. Parathyroid, it is also a gland present behind our neck. It is also a permanent gland present in our body. What is the remaining option? Placenta. Placenta is a connection between a fetus and a mother. When a mother is, when a woman is pregnant, surrounding to the developing baby, there will be a structure known as placenta which actually helps in the exchange of gases as well as nutrition. Okay, so once the baby is delivered, the placenta will be released out of the mother's body. So that is a temporary gland. Placenta is also a gland. Why? Because placenta produces different hormones like estrogen, progesterone, human chorionic gonadotropin. Okay, where we will study this particular topic under the chapter human reproduction. Okay, so we know that placenta is not a permanent gland because it is present only for 9 months till the baby is present inside the mother's womb. Once the baby is coming out, the placenta will also be coming out of the mother's body. So it is a temporary endocrine gland. Still, is it an endocrine gland? It is a gland. It is an endocrine gland because it also produces hormone when it is present in a woman's body, when a mother's body. Next question. So option for this is option 1, placenta. Placenta is a temporary endocrine gland. The next question. The deficiency of adrenal cortex hormones can lead to dash. Okay, so the options are dwarfism, GERD, acromegaly and Addison's disease. Okay, so the option for this question, the answer for this question is Addison's disease. Okay, I am giving you the answer. The deficiency of adrenal cortex hormones. Adrenal cortex produce mineralocorticoids and glucocorticoids. Alright, when these hormones are produced in a lesser amount or it is deficient in your body, it leads to the condition known as Addison's disease. Okay, so option 3 is the answer for this particular question. Question number 10. If too much of growth hormone is released during the growth period, it can cause dash. Growth hormone is a hormone produced by pituitary gland. I told you growth hormone is required in sufficient amount. If it is produced in a larger amount, it leads to gigantism. If it is produced in smaller amount, it will lead to dwarfism. So here they are asking if it is produced in too much amount, then what will be the result? Acromegaly, Crohn's disease, gigantism, none of the above. I have already mentioned that increased growth hormone will lead to gigantism. So the gigantism, option 3 is the answer for question 10. Then let's move on to question number 11. Endemic goiter relates to goiter. When this goiter clicks in your mind, that goiter is related to, goiter is a condition where your thyroid gland swells up. Why your thyroid gland swells up? Because you have less iodine content in your body. What happens when you have less iodine content? Your thyroid gland will produce less hormones, which is known as hypothyroidism. So when the goiter condition will be occurring in your body, increased pancreas function? No. Pancreas has nothing to do with goiter. Increased thyroid function? No. When the thyroid, if it is functioning, if the function of thyroid gland is increased, then the hormones are produced in larger amount. If the hormones are produced in larger amount, the goiter will not happen. Decreased thyroid function, this is the answer. When the thyroid function decreases because of low iodine, that leads to hypothyroidism. Hypothyroidism will lead to goiter, swelling of thyroid gland. So decreased thyroid function. This is the answer for question number 11, option 3. Question number 12. Dash secretes glucagon hormone. We know that glucagon hormones are secreted. Well, let's read the options. Thyroid gland? No. Thyroid gland produces only 3. Triiodothyronine, tetraiodothyronine, thyrocalcitonin. Pituitary gland. Pituitary gland, if we look into pars distalis, then the hormones are growth hormones, prolactin, thyroid stimulating hormone, adrenocorticotropic hormone, luteinizing hormone, follicle stimulating hormones. No. If you look into pars intermedia, then the hormone produced are melanocyte stimulating hormone. That is not the option. The hormones produced by pars nervosa or the neurohypophysis region is vasopressin and oxytocin. So that is also not an option. So glucagon, then liver. Liver does not produce any particular hormone. It is not an endocrine gland, right? So the last option is pancreas. Pancreas produce 2 hormones, insulin and glucagon. So the glucagon is produced by pancreas. Option 4 is your answer for the question number 12. Question number 13. Name the hormone that is responsible for milk secretion after parturition. Option 1 insulin, option 2 prolactin, option 3 lactogen, option 4 none of the above. Insulin is not the hormone responsible for milk secretion. Prolactin, PRL, produced by pars distalis region of your pituitary gland, anterior pituitary. The function is to prolactin. It is the function of prolactin is to produce milk in a after parturition or after the delivery of the baby, the production or the secretion of milk in the mammary gland. It is controlled by prolactin. So the answer here is prolactin. Okay, lactogen is not a hormone. None of the above. Okay, so the option 2 is the answer for this particular question 13. Dash is a hormone predominantly made by the adipose cells and enterocytes in the small intestine. Okay, so here imagine we have not discussed this question. Okay, that is the reason I have included this question here, so that you can apply some logic and think about it. Okay, dash hormone is predominantly produced by the adipose cells and enterocytes in the small intestine. Estrogen, is it produced by small intestine? No, it is produced by ovary. Calcitonin, it is produced by thyroid. Leptin, we don't know. Adrenaline, it is produced by adrenal medulla, right? Region of your adrenal gland. So these two are, estrogen is not an option, calcitonin is not an option, adrenaline is not an option. So the answer is leptin. This is a hormone produced by adipose cells and enterocytes in your small intestine. Next, question number 15. Dash is produced by the alpha cells of pancreas. I have told you pancreas has certain patches of cells known as islets of Langerhans. It has two different types of cells, alpha cells and beta cells. Alpha cells produce glucagon, beta cells produce insulin. So, what will be the answer? The alpha cells of pancreas produce glucagon. Calcitonin produced by thyroid. Glucagon is produced by alpha cells of pancreas. Insulin is produced by beta cells of pancreas. So, you might get confused. Because pancreas produce two hormones, insulin and glucagon, both are here. But they are specifically asking for alpha cells. The hormone produced by alpha cells are glucagon, whereas insulin is produced by beta cells of the pancreas. None of the above is not an option here. So, option 2 is the answer for question number 15. Let's talk about question number 16. Dash is a hormone produced by beta cells of the pancreas. Okay, since this is a very important question, I have included both the question. Which hormone is produced by beta cells of the pancreas? Insulin. Not glucagon, not glycogen, not oxytocin. Next question. Question number 17. Dash is a hormone that plays a major role in social bonding, the period before and after childbirth and sexual reproduction. We have already discussed about this hormone. The hormone produced by pars nervosa region of your pituitary gland. Oxytocin and vasopressin. Oxytocin, I have told you, it is helpful in contraction of the uterus during delivery. It helps the mother-child bonding after delivery. It helps in milk secretion in a new. Okay, and vasopressin, we have discussed it later. So, which hormone plays a major role in social bonding? The period before and after childbirth. Oxytocin, osteocalcin, renin, none of the above. We know that the answer is oxytocin produced by pituitary gland. Next question, question number 18. Function of renin is. Okay, this topic has also been discussed while talking about excretory products and their elimination. We have studied the topic, we have studied everything about kidney. In that particular topic, we have studied this particular, concept. So, let's read it again. Function of renin. Renin is to reduce blood pressure, vasodilation, degradation of angiotensinogen to angiotensin 2, stimulation of urination. Okay, this is also a kind of hormone. That is the reason we have added this particular question. It is related to both excretory products and their elimination. Also, it is related to hormone. So, there is nothing wrong in studying it here. The function of renin is always breaking of angiotensinogen to angiotensin 2. Okay, we will study it in detail when we go to excretory products and their elimination topic. Okay, so the function of renin is degradation of angiotensinogen to angiotensin 2. Then the next question, which one of the following, 19th question, which one of the following is a modified amino acid? while discussing about the different types of hormones, the different hormones based on the chemical component. We have studied the peptide hormones, the iodothioneins, the steroid hormones, and the amino acid derivatives. And under amino acid derivatives, I have mentioned one hormone which is actually obtained from the amino acid. Options are epinephrine, progesterone, prostaglandin, estrogen. These hormones are steroid hormones, whereas epinephrine, which is also adrenaline, is a modified amino acid. So option 1 is the answer. Question number 20. Which of the following is not a second messenger in hormone action? We have studied about hormone action. We have studied about secondary messengers. Okay, let's read the options. Calcium, sodium, CAMP, CGMP. While discussing the topic itself, I have mentioned when the hormone comes and binds to the membrane receptors, then the hormone will release something known as secondary messengers. Example, what I gave you: cyclic AMP, cyclic GMP, IP3, calcium. So cyclic AMP is here, cyclic GMP is here, calcium is here. I never mentioned that sodium is a second messenger. So sodium is the option. It is not a second messenger in hormone action. Sodium is the answer for this particular question. The next question: which endocrine gland functions as a biological clock? Okay, the hormone melatonin controls our 24 hours rhythm. It actually controls our sleep-wake cycle or the biological clock. I have already we have already discussed it. What time we have to sleep, what time we have to get up, everything is pre-decided in our body, right? We cannot sleep for a very longer time. Our body actually gives us an alarm. So it is a biological clock. Which hormone? Melatonin. So which endocrine gland produces that particular melatonin? That is the answer. Adrenal gland? No. Thyroid? No. Pineal? Yes. Pineal gland is a gland which produces that particular hormone melatonin, which actually is our biological clock. Option 3 is the answer. Then the next question: chemically hormones are what? Biogenic amines only, proteins, steroids, biogenic amines, proteins only, steroids only. We have studied there are proteins, there are steroids, there are amino acid derivatives, there are iodothioneins, which all of these can act as hormones. So option 2 is the answer. Hormone could be a protein, a hormone could be a steroid, a hormone could be a amine. Okay, amino acid derivatives. Next question: glycosuria is a condition where a man, we have already discussed while discussing about diabetes mellitus caused by insulin, reduced insulin secretion in our body. There we came across this term glycosuria. What is it? Eats more sugar, excretes sugar in urine, sugar is excreted in feces, has low sugar level in blood. So you know that glycosuria is a condition where a person who is having diabetes mellitus, glucose is excreted in the urine. So excrete sugar in urine. Option 2 is the answer. Next question: thymosin stimulates. Thymosin is a hormone produced by thymus gland. What does it stimulate? Milk secretion, erythrocytes, T lymphocytes, melanocytes. We know that thymosin is a hormone produced by thyroid gland. Thyroid gland actually helps in the differentiation of T lymphocytes. That's why T, thymus. Thymosin is a hormone produced by thymus gland. So option 3 is the answer for question number 24. Question number 25. Secretin stimulates the activity of. Secretin we have discussed while talking about the hormones produced by GI tract. So the secretin actually stimulates the activity of pancreas. Options are liver, gastric glands, pancreas, gallbladder. The answer is pancreas. Next question is: which of the following hormone is not secreted by anterior pituitary? Okay, let's talk about anterior pituitary. Anterior pituitary can, has two parts, pars intermedia and pars distalis. The hormones produced by pars distalis are GH, PRL, TS, TSH, ACTH, FSH and LH. The hormones produced by pars intermedia are MSH. So let's see if these hormones are the options. Which of the following hormone is not secreted by anterior pituitary? Growth hormone, it is secreted by anterior pituitary. FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, again it is secreted by anterior pituitary. Oxytocin, no. It is a hormone produced by posterior pituitary, that is the pars nervosa or the neurohypophysis part of the pituitary gland. Adrenocorticotropic hormone, it is a hormone produced by anterior pituitary, which is not secreted by anterior pituitary. Oxytocin, because oxytocin is produced by posterior pituitary, which is also known as neurohypophysis or the pars nervosa. Next question. A chemical that has both endocrine and neural role is, okay, a hormone which actually acts as an endocrine, chemical which acts as a hormone as well as it has some neural role, is calcitonin? No. Calcitonin has only one function, that is to control the calcium level. Epinephrine is the correct answer. Epinephrine is also known as adrenaline. Cortisol. Cortisol is a hormone which acts as a glucocorticoid. The function is to maintain the carbohydrate metabolism. Melatonin. Melatonin is a hormone which actually controls our 24 hours rhythm or the biology. It acts as a biological clock. So the answer is epinephrine or adrenaline. It acts as a endocrine gland. It acts as a hormone as well as it has some neural role. Epinephrine. Next, ANF is secreted from atrial natriuretic factor. Is it secreted from GI tract? No. Kidney? No. Posterior pituitary? No. Last option is none of these, because we know ANF is secreted from heart. Right? So heart is not an option. So we have to choose none of these. Question number 29. The persistence of corpus luteum during pregnancy is due to hormone dash. Okay, we have already discussed during pregnancy. So we have to think about pregnancy hormone. Chorionic gonadotrophic hormone? No, it is a hormone produced by your placenta. FSH, follicle stimulating hormone produced by your pituitary gland. Estrogen, it is produced by your ovary. When we talk about corpus luteum, pregnancy, we have to think about ovary. When we think about ovary, we have to think about the hormones produced by ovary. Okay, estrogen. Estrogen is produced by ovarian follicle. Progesterone. Progesterone is produced by corpus luteum. We have already discussed. So the answer for this is progesterone. Corpus luteum is a structure which will be present only if the fertilization of the egg happened and the pregnancy happened. Okay. So the answer is progesterone. The last question, which is a question, is anterior lobe of pituitary gland secretes which hormones? FSH, GH and LH, GH, TSH and prolactin, TSH, ADH and prolactin, ACTH, TSH and oxytocin. Here the answer for this question is anterior lobe of pituitary gland secretes follicle stimulating hormone, growth hormone and luteinizing hormones. Okay, the answer is clear here, FSH, GH and LH. For this you have to know about different hormones. Okay, so the pituitary, or you have to know about different hormones produced by pituitary and which part of the anterior part of the pituitary produces which hormones and posterior produces which different types of hormones. Okay, so let's I have discussed only 30 questions here. However, similar way you will be having several questions. Okay, if you look into the synopsis of the particular topic, then you will get to know which are the different hormones and their respective functions. Okay, if you know all the hormones and all their functions, then it is very easy to answer these questions. If you are not getting a specific answer for any question, then you have to apply some logic and think about it. Like if you are not particular about, or if you are not aware of a particular term, then if you are aware of the other three terms, then it is very easy for you to come to a conclusion and tick the right answer. Okay, so with this we will end this particular chapter. We will move on with or we will discuss another topic in our next session. Thank you.